This is the sun, the center of our solar system, holding 99.8% of all its mass, with a diameter of nearly 1.39 million kilometers, powering every ocean, every breath, every form of life on Earth. A perfect balance between gravity and energy, a balance so precise that everything depends on it. But change that balance, and you don't get a better system, you get chaos. What you're seeing here are the zones created by the sun's energy. Closest to the sun, temperatures are extreme. So hot, nothing can survive there. But as you move away, things start to change. Temperature drops, and conditions become just right. This region is called the habitable zone, the only place where liquid water can exist, where life is possible. And beyond that, space becomes colder, so everything depends on where this zone exists. But then, I decided to change something. What if I made the sun smaller? So I reduced its size by 10 times, and suddenly the sun became much smaller, but not weaker, just more concentrated. And that changes everything. But I didn't stop there. I made one more change. I increased its brightness by 10 times. And now, this wasn't the same sun anymore. Smaller, but way more powerful. All that energy pushed the sun's zones outward. The habitable zone moved away, and Earth was no longer in it. In just one moment, life lost its only safe place. So I went closer to the sun, and what I saw was no longer a normal star. It had transformed into something much smaller but far more intense, a white dwarf, and its temperature was rising rapidly, hotter and hotter. All that energy compressed into something incredibly small. So I moved to the closest planet, Mercury, the first to face the full force of this new sun. And what I saw was a world already burning. Temperatures rising, averaging around 380 degrees Celsius, its surface heating unevenly, turning parts of it into molten rock. With no atmosphere, nothing to protect it. Mercury wasn't adapting, it was being destroyed. Then I moved to Venus, a planet already known as the hottest in our solar system, with temperatures already around 460 degrees Celsius. But under this new sun, that heat didn't just increase, it went out of control. Venus has a thick atmosphere, trapping heat like a blanket, so when the sun became brighter, that heat had nowhere to escape, and the planet turned into a furnace. And then I came back to our home, Earth. And already, the temperature had risen to over 180 degrees Celsius. At the poles, the ice caps started melting, turning into liquid water. But it didn't last. The oceans began to dry out, water slowly disappearing, evaporating into the atmosphere, leaving the surface empty. The atmosphere became much heavier, with pressure rising far beyond normal, trapping more and more heat. The greenhouse effect increased massively, over 200 degrees of trapped heat, turning the planet into a pressure cooker. And then I went to Mars, a planet that was once cold and lifeless, but now its temperature was rising, reaching over 20 degrees Celsius, and something strange was happening. Frozen regions were melting, creating liquid water on the surface. A dead planet was starting to change. And then I came back to Earth, our home. But now everything was changing. The atmosphere became much heavier, trapping more and more heat. The oceans were already drying out, and life was disappearing. This wasn't Earth anymore. It was a world suffocating in its own heat. But then I had one more idea. What if I pushed the sun even further? So I increased its surface temperature to over 140,000 Kelvin, and instantly everything changed. The zones moved even farther away. The inner solar system completely consumed by heat. Even distant regions were no longer safe. This wasn't just a change, it was the end of balance. But I still wasn't done. What if I increased its mass? So I pushed it 10 times heavier than before, and instantly gravity took control. Everything started moving differently. Orbits no longer chaotic, but forming perfect geometric designs, as if the entire system was being reorganized by a force too strong to escape. But then I made one final change. I reduced its size, smaller and smaller, but the mass stayed the same. And that's when gravity became unstoppable. In a single moment, the sun collapsed, becoming a black hole. Light itself couldn't escape anymore. The heart of our solar system was gone. Even after everything, some objects were still orbiting. But then I took one final step. What if I pushed it beyond limits? So I did something impossible. I made it explode. And in an instant, everything was gone. A supernova where a solar system once existed. All that energy, all that chaos, just to remind us how fragile everything really is. If you want to explore more what could happen to our universe, make sure to subscribe, because the next idea might be even more insane.